Hey graduates, well gone. I hope you guys are well. Boy, I am sure we are all gearing up for the black tie event. It is going to be a historical moment. Yes, when DMG touched down in a New York, so I can't wait to see the whole excitement of it. But anyway, the tickets are all sold out now. I don't know if the VIP tickets are also sold out, but wow, that was fast. Honestly, that was fast. I know that there is some whole heap of discussion about this whole thing between Buju Banton and DMG. Like, come on, apples and oranges, people. Apples and oranges. Why are we comparing two completely different events for two completely different purposes? It's so silly. Trust me, if I was in New York, I'd be going to both because you don't know, say, me love Buju Banton music. And of course, I'd be supporting the Blanca boss. So, hello, what is the issue? Sometimes when I make small things turn into big things for no reason, like when I try proof pint when a pint in a day. Anyway, I do have a controversial opinion. And I was listening to something while I was doing some more marking today. Still I'm marking up. Trust and believe. Until I see me go live, try know some still a meet deadline. But anyway, like I was saying, I was listening to something today and I have a controversial opinion. And I don't want the world to run out on me for this, but I felt inclined to come and discuss this with my graduates because listening to it, it didn't sit right with me. I felt a way about it. And I'm puzzled as to why it is that something like this is happening. So, graduates, I'm sure by now some of you have heard the live that was done by Blessings Have to Flow. And it was a live that was done a few hours ago where she addressed a particular person who had gone on her workplace's page, social media page, and placed comments on there that were derogatory about the lady. Now, I know that there are people out there who seem to be accusing this lady of being a scammer. I personally have never come across any evidence of it. Other platform holders must know why they're saying what they're saying. But this is what I'm going to say. I remember the history of this lady and how she used to interact with Planka Shop. It was back in the day. And I even remember her coming into Planka Shop to collect her cakes. A tall lady, very beautiful, well put together. And she was very supportive of Planka Shop. I also remember when the situation happened and how it was presented to the Planketarians, right? I was very much sat as a part of that audience, so I remember it very well. And the whole argument was about a donor who was more or less supporting this lady. And this was one of the top donors from Planka Shop who went over to that platform and fell in love with the family that was over there and started investing financially in their well-being. It's all backfired. We all know that. It went left. And the clapback that came from the lady from Blessings Have to Flow, my God, it was historical. Everybody started tearing her apart, saying that she was ungrateful and so on. She was disrespectful. But to be honest, I think that while I will agree that the reaction was definitely outlandish and could have gone a different way, it didn't stop Planketarians from getting involved and making it even worse. Because you don't know, once it is that, Planketarians feel like there's some disrespect going towards 33 times 3, them are going to run out. That's how the thing set. Anyway, time has passed. Time and time has passed. And I know that there are particular bloggers who are very invested in putting Blessings Have to Flow's charity under the microscope. I'm not getting involved in that. Those people, they have got their role. They must know what they're doing. They must know what evidence they have, why they believe what they believe. It's not HTK's job to tell any blogger how to run their platform. But I'm going to speak specifically to the followers I felt it was really too much to go to try to destroy this lady's work. Everybody needs employment, everybody needs to earn. And she's not depending solely on social media to feed herself. She's out there hustling, doing various jobs. And this particular job that she has is dependent on reputation. I don't think it was fair for somebody to actually go over to that workplace and to place those kind of comments that would compromise her integrity in the eyes of the public and taint the image of the company that she's working for. Sometimes you followers go too far. And of course, the bloggers go too far too. But when it comes to crossing over into personal life, una no say HTK say, she not in that at all. Those things should only happen when it gets to a legal situation, right? I.e., you're gonna sue or you're gonna get somebody arrested. Other than that, when you see people in the streets, there should be no approach. Likewise, we shouldn't be doing things that impact on their day-to-day living. These are the kind of things that can lead to people wanting to take their own 3 points. And we don't want to be responsible for loss of life out here in these social media streets. I think it's one thing to stand up against corruption. I think it's another thing for you to use something that you haven't got any evidence for and try to persecute a person to the point where they have nothing to live for. She came out and she spoke about the decline of her marriage. A lot of you celebrated. I don't know what is in that to celebrate. Relationships that end is never a wonderful thing for anybody. And it is a shame that it had to get there for her. But she was brave enough to share that. Those who support her were there to console her. But of course, it became fodder for those who want to tear her down. Let me tell you something. This is one of the few people who I see out in these social media streets who is not running around the place tearing down 33 times 3's name. I don't see it. So please, graduates, if I'm missing something, feel free to leave it in the comments. Because I'm wondering why in goodness name would there be so much venom towards this lady still after so many years have passed. It's almost as though people are insisting that she cannot go on. Though I'm not saying necessarily that it's connected to 33 times 3. I'm saying that I understand that this is where everything started to turn left for her because there was a lot more of the attacks, the cyberbullying, the investigations into her charitable actions, and the whole claims of her being a scammer came from. It was from that point that it grew. And I don't know if it was necessarily in defense of 33 times 3 or defense of the donor. But all I know is that it was in defense of somebody. But then it just became all about focusing on her. She is the one person that I've always said I don't understand why there is still such a dislike for this lady. I am not out here defending her because I don't know her personally. Try know that. I'm just working with facts, evidence, what I've seen on social media. And I still cannot fathom the reason why we need to go that far. What I heard today was somebody who was at the end of their tether. Now, one of the things that I noticed that she tends to do is that when there is a highly dramatic moment and she's captured her audience, she will start to then ask for things for her charity. Now, maybe it's because the audience is big and everybody is looking and whatever. But of course, you know, haters are going to twist that and say it is a manipulation via emotional distress to guilt people into giving. And sometimes when things like that are going on, if you don't separate it, it is going to give that impression. Whether or not she care, I don't know. But I can understand why people will be able to twist it like that because it's two separate things. If you're dealing with tackling an issue, a challenge that's personal, separate that from the actual begging or pleading for charitable donations. so that it's clear that it's not you capitalizing on the emotions of your audience. That's what I would say would make that less. But hey, people do their thing or them do them thing, may just attack. You understand? It's just based on observations. But what I will say is I cannot stop bloggers from doing what they want to do with people out here. Just like them can't stop me. But what I can do is I can help to influence my graduates to look at things from a different perspective. That perhaps it is time that certain things we move away from. They're years old. And certain people who are not out here creating problems are not the issue. To me, the ones that are creating problems are the issue. But if they're doing nothing but trying to get on with their life, by gosh, let's leave them alone. That's what I would say to my graduates. Surely we can leave them alone at this point. You can't keep riding somebody to the point of no return and then expect them to be healthy human and functioning human beings in society. They're going to have a lot of frustration and they're going to struggle and get stressed and all kinds of bad things can come, depression, breakdown of relationships, all of that. So at the end of the day, we really have to consider the balancing of the scale when it comes to how hard we go on particular people, right? Who are not doing anything from what I can visibly see. Remember, maybe some people have privy to things that we don't know about, but then it's not clear to the general public exactly what is the cause of this. We can't just hate people for hate people's sake. Nor is it okay to say we're going to ride this woman forever because she did 33 times 3, because 33 times 3 herself came out on a live and said, listen, I don't see this lady doing anything. And then obviously her audience was like, leave it alone, don't go there, because she had faced that disrespect from her after the things that were said on her live. So, it's hard then to even say that anybody can stand up for her when they wholly represent one particular camp, right? But you see, becoming a business, I'm just going to speak what comes true to me. I just think that it's full time we let sleeping dogs lie. You understand? This lady isn't disturbing anyone. She's not going for DMG. She doesn't even mention her. She's just working, doing her thing. She chat and she laugh with our audience. I have never had any kind of issue with Blessings Have to Flow at all, never. She's never disrespected me. We've never crossed paths. We've never had any reason to have any communication. And I have no ill feelings towards her, even after that situation, because I can see where that situation could have been handled very differently from all parties. But what I will say is that what happened recently is too extreme. Why would you want to see her starving and without work because of your opinions? Yes, because you seem to think that she is a scammer. And then drawing other people into the situation, putting their picture up to say that she's working in cahoots with somebody else. I mean, you guys are not aware of slander and libel. Or is it that because you guys know that wherever it is that you are doing your targeted work from, she can't locate you, she can't find you. Therefore, you are, basically hiding behind the keyboard to do what you have to do and feeling that you have no accountability, that you think you can get away with it. It's such a shame, really, that sometimes things can't be revealed. Once upon a time when you went for somebody, you could just click on the settings of your browser and you could investigate the background by looking at the IP addresses of people. But since the sharing of communication has become such a heavily guarded thing, those things have been removed now from your browser settings. So you can't see people's IP address. And IP addresses used to reveal a lot in terms of your location, your country, your service provider. So there was plenty of things you could get from it. And those things aren't there anymore. So we now have a lot of keyboard warriors. But sometimes these keyboard warriors are quite dangerous. you've got obviously things to deal with, like fake profiles and stuff that come on your page, and they say all kinds of things, and there are settings in place to try to filter them out, but you can never ever be prepared for what these people are going to do. So they will go through social media and they will plant things on business pages, to totally disrupt your ability to achieve. Look at what happened with Cora Obidi and that lady who was a baker. And she was apparently, allegedly, innocent of all accusations, because Cora had thought that she was a part of the whole teardown campaign, who basically went for her page and stopped her monetization or whatever. And she told her Koreans to go over there and spam the lady's business page with negative comments and negative ratings. And it completely destroyed her business, for sure. That did happen. As much as I love Cora, that was a typical example of her weaponizing her audience to get them to do things that was quite negative. So many times these followers, they walk away from bloggers' platforms after the bloggers have done their shows, said what they have to say, and they carry these feelings in their guts. And they then go and they attack these people in any way, shape, or form, perhaps first on their page, but then they get blocked. So they're left with their frustration and they sit and think, how else can I do this? Right? Rather than walking away going that, look, I'm blocked, so I can't be bothered. They really take it to heart and make it their point of duty to bring destruction into your personal life. People, you can't be that preoccupied with others that you're going to do all of that. It gives an impression of you have no life. Seriously. I don't know who it is that she referred to when she said somebody made a phone call to her place of business and told her manager that she was a scammer and stuff like that. Maybe that was a blogger. So on that, I'm going to say nothing, because as I said, I don't get involved in bloggers' activities. But it's not something I agree with. If that blogger did that, that was, to me, very, very harsh. Because what has Blessings Have to Flow done out here that is so horrible? And does that deserve, years later, still going through this persecution? Somebody please try and justify this, because to me, I'm not seeing any justification. And I'm wondering once again if maybe HDK is just not paying attention. But I just don't see the reason for it. And I think it's time that some of us who are Planketarians, some of us who are graduates, start to question these things and decide not to be a part of it and to condemn it, right? And if we can't condemn it, at least to not participate in it. Because I know how it is. Sometimes you can't speak out on a blogger's page and say, yo, I don't like this. Because you're afraid that you get told to clot and you get blocked, so you get the rest of the entertainment that comes on that page and stuff like that, right? So you have to be wise in terms of what you do. But to me, I just don't see any reason for it. And I think sometimes when we target these people who are not doing anything, we are creating unnecessary enmity around the lady. Because automatically people are going to say it's because of her, why it is that you are riding her. And it all links back to her. And when the lady herself had said this woman's doing nothing, then of course, listening ears would have recognized that, listen, this is nothing to do with what DMG stands for. But of course, most people who listen, they listen to respond, not listen to understand. So it's going to fall on stony ground, especially when they're caught up in the whole fever of going for somebody who they think is deserving of it, right? But like I said, it is a shame that it's going the way it's going, because I don't see a lady who's a troublemaker. I see a lady who is doing her thing, enjoying her platform, doing her charity, the little that she's doing, because she's even said that she's reduced how much she's doing because of the cyberbullying. And I see a lady who, she had a relationship breakdown, but when I used to see her with that little girl, she's wonderful with her, and shows good parenting skills, right? Um, I think it's really important that we allow people who want to move on, right? People who have not caused damage, because she really hasn't caused any damage out here. If it is that there is solid evidence that there is scamming, why can't we for once just go through legal channels? Why can't we present evidence, hardcore evidence, to the relevant authorities to get these people closed down if it is that scamming is evident? I don't know. Why turn it into a whole series, a whole show? Because then what that looks like is you're capitalizing on the scamming. That's what it looks like, as opposed to seeking justice. Because, of course, yes, there is social justice, and social justice can come in the form of, I'm going to expose you publicly on social media. But surely that should have a time-limited experience, right? And then beyond that, it just looks like bullying. It does. It doesn't look like I'm going to handle this subject, I'm going to handle this and deal with it and move on. It looks like I'm going to ride you for the entertainment value. And, you know, while I'm saying that, hey, it could be that she is a scammer and you guys have evidence, I'm also saying that it's not that clear to people like myself what that evidence actually is. So some of us will have some reservations as to why it is that this is being done. So, that is what I was thinking still. It's a shame that that happened. And me not like it. And I don't like it for anybody really. Especially when that person is not doing anything. You see, if somebody out here saw give you a problem and I do ever anything happen to them, say me no have no mercy. But once they're just staying to themselves and in them lane, hey, to each their own. Live and let live. Anyway, that's my controversial opinion. This is your girl, Head Teacher K.